In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to the line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 $3 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Is debt beating you down? You need discipline. You need the Debt Ninja. If you've been caught in a financial trap and need to be set free, then you need the Debt Ninja. Want to stop those harassing collection calls, start saving thousands in interest and fees, and get out of debt fast? Then you need to call the Debt Ninja. The Debt Ninja will find the best companies across the country that will help you consolidate all your bills into one easy payment, reduce your payments by 30 to 50%, and get you out of debt fast. If you have unsecured debt of $10,000 or more, such as credit cards, loans, or medical bills, call the Debt Ninja for a free 15-minute consultation.
Call 800-826-1246. 800-826-1246. That's 800-826-1246. Call today.
The Debt Ninja.
Frustration is mounting and anger is growing with the liberals and passive politicians. Learn the playbook of those who are trying to destroy our country. From the blue-collar professor, he teaches, he leads, he speaks out for truth and justice. Now, the educator of all things conservative, your host, Dr. Gavin Mitchell.
Do you ever wonder just how different things would be if we had a Ronald Reagan as president? If we had, quite frankly, a man that wasn't scared leading this country. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the program. I am Gavin Mitchell. As we close out the 1-hour episodes of the Gavin Mitchell Show as you know it, this is the final one. Change is coming. I'll tell you about that later on in the program. But I want to get to this situation with North Korea. And I have long screamed from the top of my lungs here on this program that what is happening and what has happened with North Korea is exactly what is happening with Iran. This is Billy Jack Clinton's doings. North Korea having nuclear capabilities is all his fault. Because this whole thing started when he was president during his administration, and his solution was diplomatic, over-the-counter, let's sanction them approach. It was not the Ronald Reagan approach to put his foot on their throat and make them submit. It wasn't even close. He was weak just like this president was weak. And if you fast forward to 2016, we now have North Korea detonating not one, but 2 nuclear weapons underground in 2016. Now, their technology and their nuclear know-how advanced far enough to actually have a detonation underground in 2006. That measured 1 kiloton of TNT. That was the equivalent. And just to give you a metric, some type of baseline here, when we dropped our atomic bombs on Japan to close out World War II, those were 15 kilotons. That kind of sets the bar as to where this was. So 1 kiloton of TNT is still an incredible explosion, but it was nowhere near the 15 that we dropped. Well, in January, the explosion underground, the detonation of their atomic bomb, hit 6 kilotons. And then early this morning, in the overnight hours, there was another detonation that registered a 5.3 magnitude earthquake in North Korea. The best guesstimation is that it was at 10 kilotons. They are advancing rapidly. They are so incredibly close to having a nuclear weapon at the level that we had from the Manhattan Project that we dropped on Japan to end a war. They're a hop, skip, and jump away. Now, it's important that we have strong leadership in a time like this, because if anything is clear from this situation, that little South Park character running South Korea doesn't care what other people say, doesn't care what other people think. He has closed off his country to where he is his own God, and he forces people to worship him. And his ego will not let him submit to any other country. He must be seen as an equal at a minimum, if not a superior. This is a kid running a nuclear powerhouse now. And Barack Obama's answer is sanctions. He's running right through those sanctions. He doesn't care. His people care. His people are starving. His people don't have lights. His people don't have internet connections. They care. He doesn't. He's fat and happy. Sanctions do not work with this clown. So what do? Well, what did we do with Syria? Do you remember when Syria was accused of an inexcusable? When the whole civil war thing started, the Syrian government was accused of using chemical weapons on their own people, on the rebels. That is a big no-no. You don't do that. So what did our president have to say about that?
And today I want to make it absolutely clear to Assad and those under his command, the world is watching. The use of chemical weapons is and would be totally unacceptable.
That sounds pretty harsh. That sounds pretty stern. That's what we need from a leader. Stand strong. Let him know. Unacceptable. Barack Obama continues.
And if you make the tragic mistake of using these weapons, there will be consequences and you will be held accountable.
Now we're talking. Now there's a threat. Now we have a little gumshoe about us. Now we've got some muscle in our arms and we're starting to flex it. That's what we need from a leader when we have rogue governments like we have in Syria using chemical weapons on their own people, like we've gotten this clown over in North Korea whose nuclear program is in advanced stages and he's constantly shooting ballistic missiles out into the ocean, as is stated clearly. He has made no secrets about it, that his end goal is to launch a ballistic missile that will reach the United States with a nuclear warhead on it. There's no two ways about it. We need a strong leader. Barack Obama continued in another press conference, indirectly addressing the Syrian leadership.
We have been very clear to the Assad regime, but also to other players on the ground, that a red line for us is we start seeing a whole bunch of chemical weapons moving around or being utilized. That would change my calculus. That would change.
Well, there you go. It'll change his calculus. Seeing chemical weapons move around on the ground would change his calculus.
Change my equation.
There you go. So it changes his equation. That's the red line. He has drawn the line in the sand, and he told Assad, cross it if you dare. I dare you to cross it. Well, what happened? Listen carefully. This is a UN leader speaking, and he has a thick accent, but listen carefully to what the UN investigation found.
Report of the United Nations mission to investigate allegations of the use of chemical weapons in Syria has concluded that chemical weapons were used on a relatively large scale in the Ghouta area of Damascus on August 21st.
Uh-oh. So Barack Obama has drawn this red line. He said his calculus would change if they found out there were chemical weapons being used in Syria. This is a defining moment for a president because the UN just came out and said they use nuclear weapons. The evidence is there. Us as the United Nations, we're saying they did it. Assad called Barack Obama's bluff. How does Barack Obama respond?
First of all, I didn't set a red line. The world set a red line.
What? Of course he backpedals, because he is a coward. He is weak. And using chemical weapons on another country's people, that's distant. It's foreign to us. It's something we see on the news. And yes, you're empathetic to those people, but it's still distant. It's no different than seeing the infomercials at night about the starving kids. Your heart breaks, but you don't see it when you're out on the street, so out of sight, out of mind. It only comes back in when you see the infomercial again the next night. It's the same situation. Nobody wishes that upon anybody, but it's not us, too bad for them, right? That's kind of the approach we take, as sorry as I am to say that. But our president, the leader of the free world, drew a line, a red line, on Assad and said, if you use chemical weapons, you have crossed that line and you'll get the full wrath of the United States. Then the UN comes out and says, hey, they use chemical weapons. And then Barack Obama backpedals. Just complete. Oh, I didn't draw a red line. The world did. It's their responsibility. He is a weak coward. So we fast forward to today. We know that North Korea is in advanced stages of developing a nuclear weapon. A nuclear weapon. Many of us were not alive when the only two in human history had been detonated. But it is catastrophic like my generation has never seen. And I would argue that this world has only seen twice. And it is in the hands of a madman who is not only rapidly advancing his nuclear program, is also rapidly advancing his ballistic missile program with the stated goal to attack, unprovoked, these United States of America with a nuclear weapon. It doesn't get any more dire or serious than this. And it's important to understand why this happened, because Bill Clinton decided to go the diplomatic route and treat North Korea as if they were a world power instead of putting them in their place. Nobody likes war, but sometimes it's necessary because it prevents this situation. And then we look at Iran. And do you understand why those of us who understand the connection, the parallels here, are worried, are concerned? Barack Obama replied to the detonation this morning in North Korea. He was over there at the G20 summit and bouncing around, shaking hands, kissing babies, apologizing for America, and making sure the world knew we were full of racists. He was briefed on the flight home. And when he landed early this morning in Washington, he made a statement. Quote, North Korea stands out as the only country to have tested nuclear weapons this century. Today's test, North Korea's second this year, follows an unprecedented campaign of ballistic missile launches, which North Korea claims are intended to serve as delivery vehicles for nuclear weapons targeting the United States and our allies, the Republic of Korea and Japan. As Commander-in-Chief, I have the responsibility to safeguard the American people and ensure that the United States is leading the international community in responding to this threat and North Korea's other provocations with commensurate resolve and condemnation. How about military force, Barack Obama? How about you just wipe North Korea off the map? Yes, innocent people will die. But had you rather that war go on in North Korea, or had you rather nuclear weapons hit San Francisco, Oakland, L.A., San Diego, Seattle, Portland, or even further east? What would you prefer? Because doing nothing is no longer an option. I understand you have your foot out the door. And I also understand that you are more concerned about making sure that race is the biggest factor in our country and dividing us so that the left can conquer. I get it. You hate America. But you still have a fiduciary responsibility to protect these people. You said it yourself. As Commander-in-Chief, I have a responsibility to safeguard the American people. Why don't you do it? And why don't you learn a lesson here? It's almost a Gavin Mitchell show axiom. Pay attention to the mistakes of others. You can learn from them. Pay attention to what's going on in Europe with the Syrian refugees. You can learn from that. We can learn from that. Pay attention to how Bill Clinton handled North Korea and the outcome. We now have a serious nuclear threat, almost equivalent to the Cold War. And Iran is just a few years behind them because of your actions, because of your deal, because of you insisting that we must cut deals with the Islamic states, that we must negotiate with the world's largest state sponsor of terrorism. That's what you want. How about you check all that crap and be president of the United States for a change?
The Gavin Mitchell Show.
It's summertime again, ladies. Time to break out those sandals and give your toenails a little TLC. The nail technicians at Friendly Nails in Cleburne, Texas are ready to provide you with professional and friendly service. From manicures to pedicures and a variety of specialized services such as acrylic nails, facials, and waxing. Custom designs and a variety of stones to accent your nails are also available. The technicians at Friendly Nails are all licensed and trained in the latest technology and have experience applying every kind of polish on the market. So stop by and be treated like royalty. Relax in their massage chairs and unwind. Full body massage therapy is also available by appointment only. For all you guys wanting to give your special lady a little treat, $50 gift certificates are available now for $40, and anyone who mentions hearing about Friendly Nails on the Gavin Mitchell Show or KLIF will get $10 off any $50 purchase. Friendly Nails is open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Sundays from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. Located at 180 North Ridgeway Drive in Cleburne, Texas. Call them at 817-641-3400. Walk-ins are welcome.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-525-8479 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-525-8479 to take your call now. Call 1-800-525-8479. That's 1-800-525-8479. Again, 1-800-525-8479.
Do you need residential or commercial roof repairs, maintenance, or replacement in the Dallas-Fort Worth area? J-Bow Roofing has over 35 years of experience in the industry, and they have the know-how to keep you dry and comfortable. J-Bow Roofing also offers a roofing system that is warranted against hail of any size, and this is a no-excuse warranty. J-Bow Roofing doesn't want their customers to cringe every time it hails. They want customers to have complete confidence that their roofing system is going to stand up to the task. Basically, J-Bow Roofing wants to stop the insanity, lifetime roofing period. Re-roof once and be done. A J-Bow roof product is aesthetically pleasing and tougher than anything you can find. A J-Bow roof is so nice your neighbors will want it. J-Bow lifetime roofing systems are strong as steel, tougher than hail, and guaranteed. So it'll be the last roof you put on your house. Looking for a price? Get a no-cost, no-obligation quote today at jabeau.com. That's jabeau.com. J-Bow Roofing. Your long-term satisfaction is their immediate goal.
Twisted Roads Trading Post in Crowley, Texas is your premier biker apparel, leather, and accessories store. Stop in and visit with Brothers Ron and Carl Phillips. Twisted Roads Trading Post carries leather jackets, chaps, vests, accessories, gifts, and more. Open 6 days a week, Tuesday through Thursday, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m., Fridays and Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., and on Sundays, 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. Got a motorcycle or trike to sell? Their park and sell lot is now available and anxious to show off your ride. Visit us for sewing, embroidery, and t-shirt printing services. Airbrush services by our friends at Kingdom Custom Creations are also available throughout the week. Call today or visit twistedroadstradingpost.com or find and like them on Facebook. Located west of Crowley on FM 1187, then south on FM 1902. Go 1.3 miles and look for the flags. 817-768-8761. That's 817-768-8761. Twisted Roads Trading Post. If the flags are flying, we're open.
let's get back to the program. If you're sick of the garbage that comes out of Washington, D.C., then it's time to arm yourself with knowledge from the Blue Collar Professor. Here's your host, Dr. Gavin Mitchell.
If you are looking to connect with the program, you can find us on the World Wide Web, thegavinmitchellshow.com. You are welcome to email me anytime, Gavin at thegavinmitchellshow.com, and we are on Twitter at TheGMShow. Feel free to follow along. A lot of tongue-in-cheek, a lot of sarcasm there on the Twitter, but that's where we have a little fun, so feel free to follow along at The GM Show. So we talked about how Billy Jack Clinton set the stage for this whole North Korea deal. And then he rides off into the sunset, lines his pocket with Hillary Clinton's access to the State Department, and he's sitting pretty. But the one thing you have to give Billy Jack Clinton credit for is his ability to work a room. At least he used to have that ability. I mean, he could walk in a room, turn on that Southern charm, throw that little accent around and still sound intelligent and just own a room. He could own an arena. He was an incredible orator. He was an even better campaigner. Now, yes, he had help from Ross Perot stealing votes from George Herbert Walker Bush to get into the White House, but still, he was great at that. But if people truly knew the problems this country had connected to the policy and action of Bill Clinton, he wouldn't just go down as the only president to ever be impeached. He would be much worse than that. And he might even rival Barack Obama up until a couple years ago, but Barack Obama kept piling on. So Billy Jack Clinton is in Orlando on Wednesday, and I don't know if Bill is sick. I don't know if he's just crazy. I don't know if the years have gotten to him. I don't know, but he has lost it. He has absolutely lost it. Here's what Bill had to say Wednesday.
That message, I'll give you America great again, is if you're a white Southerner, you know exactly what it means, don't you? What it means is, I'll give you the economy you had 50 years ago, and I'll move you back up on the social totem pole and other people down.
Wow. Wow. So somehow he has managed to take the slogan, "Make America Great Again," and turn it into a racist term. Here come the liberals again. Here come the liberals. Racism, sexism, you're being suppressed, creating victims. This is what they do. And Bill Clinton used to be so smooth about it. He used to be so inconspicuous. And he just slide right in, say his piece, and get out before anybody knew what he was really saying. But he just comes right out and calls not only Donald Trump, but the slogan, "Make America Great Again," racist. Now, I've got problems with this for a number of reasons. One, I hear this all the time. Donald Trump's a racist. What has Donald Trump said or done that is racist? I have yet to get an answer to that. Oh, well, when he called the Mexicans all drug dealers and rapists, that's not what he said. He said the people coming over, some of them were, and that's a fact. That's a fact, Jack. No two ways about it. I still don't know what Donald Trump has done to be a racist. That's my first problem. Trying to slap the label racist on everything, because that's what the left does. When you throw facts their way, they respond when they don't have a leg to stand on. Oh, you're a bigot. You're a racist. You're sexist. We've heard xenophobia a lot lately. Well, it's turned into the little girl that cried wolf, or the little boy, whatever the story is. It doesn't sting anymore. It doesn't deter people anymore. People are tired of hearing it because it's thrown around in a false way. The accusation isn't true. People are sick of hearing it. But there's more to it for Billy Jack. Here's Billy Jack when he was on the campaign trail for him and Hillary in 2008.
I believe that together we can make America great again. To secure a better future for your children and your grandchildren, and to make America great again. I want to attack these problems and make America great again. It's time for another comeback. Time to make America great again.
What a convenient slip of memory. I mean, how convenient is it that it's okay for Bill Clinton to say those things because he couldn't be racist, but when Donald Trump uses it, it's racist because what Donald Trump is insinuating is that he wants to go back to the days of segregation and maybe even further back to the days of slavery, where the good old white Southern Democrat, that racist bastard, was holding the black man down. But when Bill says it, he truly wants to make America great again. His words mean exactly what he says. Donald Trump is the one that doesn't wait. Bill Clinton was the one impeached for lying. And this whole smokescreen, this whole idea that Donald Trump is racist and Republicans are racist, it couldn't be further from the truth. It just couldn't. If you go back and look at history, the Republican Party was created as an opposition to slavery. They tried to pass a Civil Rights Act shortly after the Civil War. The Democrats defeated it. They are responsible for the amendments that gave black people full citizenship, the right to vote. They are responsible, the Republicans, for getting the Civil Rights Act passed in the late 50s, early 60s. And the problem is the Democrats now will stand up on a stage and say, all that's true, but about the civil rights movement, there was a big switch. They call it the big switch. That all the racist Democrats went to the Republican Party and all the non-racist Republicans came over to the Democratic Party. That is not true. It never happened. That is the lie that the Democratic Party is hanging their hat on. And in fact, it was Lyndon Baines Johnson in the Senate that tried to railroad the Civil Rights Act himself. He was the Senate Majority Leader, and he did everything he could to keep the black man oppressed. And yes, Colin Kaepernick, that was true oppression, not what you're facing. Lyndon Baines Johnson becomes vice president for Kennedy. Kennedy's assassinated. He gets reelected. And he is quoted as saying, well, we've got to do this and that, and we will have those N-words voting Democrat for the next 200 years. What is this and that? It's the entitlements. It's trying to hand people something for nothing, targeting minorities to make them dependent on the government. And when you stand up in opposition to such a thing, saying, no, hold on. This is America, the land of opportunity. You have a right to the pursuit of happiness, but not the right to happiness. There are a lot of miserable people in this country, and you get what you earn here. Everybody has a chance, but we don't promise equal outcome. Well, that's exactly what the Democrats wanted to do. They wanted to guarantee an equal outcome. They wanted to provide for the African American community just enough that they would become dependent on them. And that's exactly what happened. And now if you oppose any of that, you're a racist. If you expect people to work for a living, if you expect people to earn what they get, you're a racist. Do you see the big Jedi mind trick? Because they can no longer physically, and I'm not using that term literally, keep the black man down through segregation laws, because that was defeated. And it was almost 100% vote rate between the 3 amendments and the 2 civil rights bills I mentioned by the Republicans. But once that passed, they can no longer use that tool. They had to find another one. So if ever there was a big switch, it wasn't a swap of parties by the racist people. They stayed put in the Democratic Party. They just found a new tool. They found a new way to suppress and keep their thumb on the African American community. It makes you sick, doesn't it, that there are people out there like that? And then here comes Bill Clinton saying, make America great again means it goes back to the days where there was segregation and the white man was strong. That's what he means. I'm old enough to know that. I'm old enough to remember it. The good old days weren't all that good in many ways. What Bill Clinton is failing to tell you is that it's his party that is responsible for all of that, and nothing has changed. Nothing at all. We have DNC emails talking about taco bowl engagement. We have this idea of letting illegals in to vote however they want to. We got this idea of letting Syrian refugees in, even though there's terrorists embedded. And the black community is waking up to it. They're starting to figure it out. That for the last 50 years, they voted Democrat, and Democrats have yet to come through with the promises they made. They're not any better now than the day that Civil Rights Act was signed. And it's because of their elected officials. And so a lot of these blacks are out there saying, you know what? What have we got to lose? Here comes Donald Trump saying, look, you voted Democrat the last 50 years. It's got you nothing. Why don't you give me a shot? I'm here for you. When Louisiana flooded, where were the Democrats? Nowhere to be found. Jamel Shaw's son was shot and killed. Once they found out somebody more important on their hierarchy shot, they disappeared. The Democrats aren't there for you. They just want your vote. That's all they're after. Nothing more, nothing less. And so here's Bill Clinton trying to spin it, trying to make Donald Trump the racist. Well, the gig's up. The gig is up for those of you on the left who like to play this card. We're realizing what's going on. Our eyes are open. And the minority communities are beginning to open their eyes. The LGBT community, the Hispanics to some degree. We've got Operation Taco Bowl in Southern California making a move. They care because they're here legally. And the African American community is starting to open their eyes too. The Democrats are in trouble because they do not have a platform to run on. They've got no leg to stand on. Barack Obama has wrecked this thing to the point it's irrecoverable. And the fact of the matter is, the election following the first black president of the United States, the other party has a chance to capture a lot, if not the majority, of African American votes. Oh, the irony.
The Gavin Mitchell Show.
Are you getting squeezed by the economic downturn? Hey, you were doing fine. Then, all of a sudden, you're having a tough time paying your family's credit card bills. Maybe you were downsized or even lost a job, but you still owe 10 grand or more in credit card bills. And you just can't afford the minimum payments anymore. We're here to help. We are the Genesis Debt Partners. We know the secrets to negotiate better terms with your creditors. Make a free 10-minute call right now and learn how we can help you get out of debt. 800-807-9767. If you owe 10 grand or more in credit card debt and you want to learn how you can pay less and get out of debt faster, call right now. 800-807-9767. 800-807-9767. Get out of debt now. 800-807-9767.
Hey everybody, your pal Gavin Mitchell here from my friends at Texas Elite Landscape. We all have that embarrassing spot in our yard we just can't seem to get grass to grow. Or perhaps you're tired of pumping hundreds and thousands of dollars into your yard just to get it to turn green when the weather warms up. Or maybe the constant maintenance is just too much to bear. Well, my friends at Texas Elite Landscaping are the most respected synthetic grass installation specialists in North Texas. Locally owned and operated, they have installed over 1 million square feet of the highest quality quality grass made right here in the USA. And I know what you're thinking. Is it pet and child friendly? You bet it is. So whether you want your yard looking picture perfect year round, no matter what the season is, or perhaps you'd like a putting green in the backyard to keep your husband home on Saturdays, give my friends at Texas Elite Landscaping a call today. 214-298-7726. That's 214-298-7726. Or find them at TexasEliteLandscaping.com.
Is debt beating you down? You need discipline. You need the Debt Ninja. If you've been caught in a financial trap and need to be set free, then you need the Debt Ninja. Want to stop those harassing collection calls? Start saving thousands in interest and fees and get out of debt fast? Then you need to call the Debt Ninja. The Debt Ninja will find the best companies across the country that will help you consolidate all your bills into one easy payment, reduce your payments by 30 to 50%, and get you out of debt fast. If you have unsecured debt of $10,000 or more, such as credit cards, loans, or medical bills, call the Debt Ninja for a free 15-minute consultation.
Call 800-824-3301. 800-824-3301. That's 800-824-3301. Call today.
The Debt Ninja.
Boy, man, I had a rough night's sleep. Boy, I got a letter from the IRS yesterday, and I just couldn't sleep. Man, I'm dying here. Somebody help me.
IRS problems affect more than just your finances. If you're ready to take back control of your life and you owe more than $10,000, you need to call the Tax Doctor. Their expert staff can immediately protect you from the IRS and state collectors and get you the best possible tax settlement guaranteed. The IRS has recently released new programs geared in helping struggling taxpayers, where you may qualify to settle your tax debt and wipe out up to 85% or more of what you currently owe. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, call the Tax Doctor right now. See if you qualify to pay less. 800-631-9123. 800-631-9123. 800-631-9123. Again, 800-631-9123.
Hey, liberals, try rooting for your own country for a change. Our blue-collar educator of all things common sense does. Now, back to the Gavin Mitchell Show.
So Bill Cosby is in the news again, and we all know the story. He was accused of drugging and sexually assaulting a woman not too long ago. And then another one came out, and then another one came out, and these droves. It's like the floodgates open, and all these women were coming out saying Bill Cosby drugged them and sexually assaulted her. The problem is the statute of limitations ran out on just about all of these cases, but somehow one of them stuck in Pennsylvania. And so Bill Cosby is going through his pretrial hearings where the attorneys get together and they meet and they swap evidence and they talk and do what they got to do, talk plea deal, all that other stuff. Well, the trial date has been set for June or July of next year. I think it's June of next year. And there are 13 women testifying in court, and 12 of them are white. And today, Bill Cosby's attorneys came out and said that it's because he's black. Is this not... Let me just ask a serious question. Let's drop the crap and let's just have a heartfelt, serious conversation. Because I mentioned it last segment, that when the left doesn't have a leg to stand on, when they have no argument, when they can't dispute the facts that defeat their argument, they go to name calling and race is their favorite. Is that true for Bill Cosby? Does he not have a leg to stand on? And because he happens to be black, it's not that hard to play that card. It's not that hard to say, oh, this is all happening to me because I'm black. It happens every day, probably 100,000 times across this country. There are people who are victims of true racism, and they should stand up and scream at the top of their lungs. The problem is, for those of you who are victims of true racism, you've got this other group of people out there that aren't, that just want attention, that doesn't know how to get out of the jam they're in, or is just embarrassed, and so they pull the rip card and play the race card. And it diminishes the credibility of those that are subject to true racism. And I've said it in sexual assault situations. Sexual assault is incredibly serious, and the punishment should be severe. But if someone accuses an individual of sexual assault and it didn't happen, I think the accuser should face the same punishment that the accused would have gotten if proven guilty. And while there may not be a standard sentence for racism, I'm telling you, if you are the subject of racism and the victim of racism, and you don't get these others to stand up and say enough, we've got to quit playing this card. We've got to stop crying wolf, because when there really is a wolf at the door, nobody's going to believe us. We're at that point now. And here comes Bill Cosby going through a criminal trial for sexual assault with 10, 12 women willing to testify. And because his preference, apparently, in these relationships, whether they were illegal or not, happened to be white women, because they're willing to speak out, he's now the subject of racism. This makes no sense at all. And the irony of all of this is, Cosby, for the longest time, stood up and spoke to the young black community, young black men in particular, and said, look, you've got to stand up and take accountability, and you've got to quit using race as an excuse. His attorney said that the lady representing most of those 12 women, quote, calls herself a civil rights attorney, but her campaign against Mr. Cosby builds on racial bias and prejudice that can pollute the court of public opinion. That's it. That is the race card. Mr. Cosby is no stranger to discrimination and racial hatred. Of course not, because he's the victim here. Even though he allegedly sexually assaulted people, he's the victim. When the media repeats our accusations with no evidence, no trial, and no jury, we are moved backward as a country and away from the America that our civil rights leaders sacrificed so much to create. That has nothing to do with race. That has to do with bad journalism, and that's something we've been screaming since jump. His attorney called the tactic desperate, and he says it's ironic that a man who has chastised the black poor for making race an excuse would now have to lean upon that as part of his defense strategy. Georgetown University sociology professor Michael Eric Dyson, who is a black scholar and author of a book called Is Bill Cosby Right, or Has the Middle Class Lost Its Mind? The professor goes on to say, if you're more cynical, you might say, what manipulation of racial rhetoric in defense of the indefensible? Well, Professor, I'm more cynical, and it's disgusting.
The Gavin Mitchell Show.
You hear the headlines. You know health insurance is a real mess right now. Premiums have skyrocketed, and in most cases, you're stuck with your plan until open enrollment. But there's a government rule that allows you to qualify for lower health insurance rates if your life has changed. That means if you've changed jobs, if you're having a child, if you're getting married, if you're getting divorced, even if you run a small business or you're self-employed, this law may qualify you to get lower health insurance rates. Call the Health Insurance Hotline today. Learn how this 10-minute call can help you get lower health insurance rates. This is a free service to help consumers learn the laws to help them qualify for lower health insurance rates. So call right now to learn more. 800-926-4501, 800-926-4501, 800-926-4501, 800-926-4501.
Hey folks, Gavin Mitchell here. If you're in the market for a new car or truck, Jerry Chevrolet in Weatherford has been family owned and operated for nearly 50 years, and my family has done business with Jerry for 25 of those. Jerry's proudly built a reputation of working hard to provide their customers with great service and exceptional value. Jerry Chevrolet has hundreds of new trucks in stock, and they are always marked with the absolute lowest price. Come test drive the Chevy Silverado or the Colorado today and get yourself a $25 prepaid Visa gift card for doing it. When you go online at jerrychevytexas.com, Jerry will offer you a $25 prepaid Visa gift card just for stopping in. No purchase necessary. It's as easy as that. If you have a trade-in, Jerry Chevrolet is always looking for quality used cars, and you can go to jerrychevytexas.com today and find out what your vehicle is worth. Buy new roads at Jerry Chevrolet in Weatherford and at jerrychevytexas.com. Come out our way and trade your way. Tell them Gavin sent you.
Attention business owners. We know that owning a business means getting things done right now. So if your right now list includes a new building, call the Right Now Company. General Steel. We can design a building for your business quickly and save you thousands of dollars. That's right, thousands. You may think General Steel only builds large projects or that you can't afford General Steel quality. Well, check these prices. How about a 40 by 60 foot building for under $22,000? Or even a 50 by 100 for under $35,000? That's right, a 5,000 square foot building for under $35,000. And these buildings all have General Steel quality. Best of all, you can still order a building and have it delivered in time to build this year. How's that for right now? So if your right now list includes a new building, call the Right Now Company, General Steel.
800-398-8309. 800-398-8309. 800-398-8309. That's 800-398-8309.
Hey everybody, Gavin Mitchell from The Gavin Mitchell Show here. Of course you can find our show every week on our flagship station, News and Information, 570 AM KLIF, but sometimes once a week just isn't enough. I would encourage you to go out to our website, www.thegavinmitchellshow.com, and there you'll find a plethora of information about the show, including archived episodes of our daily podcast. You'll find a blog written by me and other conservative writers, and entertaining videos that are available with the Gavin Mitchell Experience. I would encourage you to follow us on Twitter at The GM Show. We are on Facebook, facebook.com/The Gavin Mitchell Show. And of course, we are on our flagship station for the internet, conservativeradionetwork.com, with the most talented conservative podcasters in the country. So be sure to tune in Saturdays at 8 p.m. right here on News and Information 570 AM KLIF, or through the week at conservativeradionetwork.com or www.thegavinmitchellshow.com.
If you happen to drive by the studios during a commercial break and you see a guy on the roof waving an American flag, that's our blue-collar doctor of common sense. And now here he is, your host, Dr. Gavin Mitchell.
You know I cannot leave academia alone. It's low-hanging fruit if you're a talk show host. It's just there for you to knock it out of the park. And because I was a member of academia for a very short period of my life, at least on the professor side, I feel like I've got a leg to stand on here. And so I want to go to Brown University, an Ivy League school of all things. And make no mistake about it, just because you are book smart does not mean you have common sense. I've said it a million times. If you have PhD at the end of your name, there is a high probability, but not a guarantee, that you're an idiot. You're very good at whatever your research track is, but for the other 99.99% of life, not so strong. And that's just been my experience. And that is why academia is littered with liberal nutcases. That's why. And for whatever reason, there seems to be this correlation between intelligence and being a liberal nut job, right? A lot of smart people are liberals, and it just blows my mind. I can't seem to put it together. Brown University, full of intellectuals, book smart people, have decided, because the student body president, a guy by the name of Wynn, at least I think it's a guy, sent an email to the student body and has taken initiative, and him and 20 volunteers are now going to put pads and tampons in the men's bathroom. That's right. In his email to the student body, he said, quote, "There's been a lot of conversation about why pads and tampons are a necessity, not a luxury, but not a lot of action. We wanted to take it into our own hands." Great. How do they end up in the men's bathroom? I still cannot connect the dots here. At least I couldn't when I first read the story. Tampons are now a genderless necessity, according to Brown University, who have announced that they will be providing tampons for both men's and women's bathroom across the university this academic year. And you have to read on for a while to understand that this is a transgender issue. This clown said that men menstruate too. It's a direct quote from him. Now, he plays on this whole deal about being low income and struggling with necessities for food, let alone tampons, and so on and so forth. All of it's right until he starts talking about sticking it in the men's bathroom. Are you kidding me? How do you explain that to a little kid? Now, here's the crazy thing. The leadership at Brown University, the faculty and staff and the administrators are praising this guy as a tremendous initiative. The former head of psychology of the psych ward at Johns Hopkins University, there's not a lot of people that can out-credential this guy, said he studied it for a long, long time. And transgenderism is a mental disorder. But yet we have academics praising this kind of crap. I'm baffled. I can't believe we're having these conversations. Now, here's something that hits a little closer to home, and it's going to transition to what I'm going to say next. There is a history professor out at a California community college called Saddleback College. Her name is Margaret Lovett. She is a women's study and gender and popular culture professor. What a joke. First off, just a little side note. If you happen to instruct at a community college, good for you. You're doing yeoman's work. If you are a full-time professor and you end up at a community college, you do not need to be in front of young people lecturing. You have missed your mark. It's that simple. You have simply missed your mark. She is videoed running around campus, ripping down Never Forget memorial posters for 9/11 because she has long argued that the attacks on September 11th, 2001 were a result of U.S. imperialism. How unpatriotic. Why are we here? Why do people hate the country that gives them so many opportunities? Why? I don't understand it. But it does bring us to my closing thought here. Sunday is September 11th, and it is also the start of the new format for Matlock and myself. Starting Monday night, we are going to go Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern to 10 p.m. Eastern with a live broadcast of the Conservative Cartel. You will be able to pick me up Thursday nights from 8 to 10. You will be able to pick me up Saturdays from 10 to 12 starting tomorrow, 12 to 2 Eastern starting tomorrow on Red Nation Rising Radio and WDDQ 92.1 Talk Radio out of Valdosta, Georgia. I will also jump on the air Thursday nights live, and we are working on a phone system for you to call in. So there are great things coming with that ability to call in and interact. And so Matt and I have made a decision that we're going to get together. We love doing the 2-hour show. We're going to do it 3 times a week. Matt is going to do the Matt Locke Show Sunday nights live. It'll be syndicated over terrestrial radio as well. And so we're just dialing back our individual shows a little bit and having a little more fun with it. You still get a lot of me. You still get a lot of Matt. If you follow Matt and you're not a big fan of me or vice versa, there's still enough of us to go around, and it makes for good radio. And quite frankly, I really enjoy it when Matt and I disagree, if that makes sense. It's a lot of fun because Matt's intelligent. He's well-versed. He's well-researched. He has a reason for believing what he believes other than just because. So great things coming there. Also, you will be able to find that on Red Nation Rising Radio. KLRN is in. The 405 Media is in. High Plains Radio is in. Streaming Talk Radio is in. IPBN-FM.com is also in. So a lot of our affiliates are making the adjustment to accommodate this. It's going to be a great thing. And Monday night, we're really going to spend some time on 9/11 and a tribute, because not only is it the anniversary of the towers falling, it is the anniversary of the Benghazi attacks. So a lot to talk about. We're going to have Chris from New Media Patriot Radio on, a retired New York City firefighter. He was police officer. He was a police officer during the 9/11 attacks. And Rocco Stucci, also another talk show host, who is a first responder as well. Great show Monday night. Don't miss it. But for today, that's going to do it. Tomorrow, noon Eastern, Red Nation Rising Radio. Until then, for the great Ron Phillips, I'm Gavin Mitchell. This has been a Pinnacle Broadcast Holdings production. We'll see you tomorrow.